Yo, what's up, my beautiful people? It's your boy Lax once again. I'm here with a new guest. Y'all shouldn't be surprised because the reason that's why I opened this channel is to make sure you are kept motivated, you are entertained, and all that. So, before I go further, can we know the guest?
Yo, what's up, people? Thanks a lot, for having me. I'm called, Lazeri, and I'm really happy, to be part of this show. Yeah, so I'm ready.
All right. You all heard from him. He's more than ready right now. So, Lazeri, you have been an artist for the past good years. I don't know how many years it has been, but you have been an artist.
Yeah.
So, there are a lot of guys out there that would like to know about your story. And I have few questions as of now. So, the first question is, when did you first realize that you are an artist or you want to become an artist?
Oh man, that's a big story to tell people, but I realized that I was an artist way back when I was like 11 years old, and that is many years ago. So since then, I've never put I've never stepped backwards, when it comes to my musical career. And for now, I feel like I'm almost getting, where I've always wanted to be. So the journey has been a long one.
All right. You all heard from him, and it's. I hope whoever is watching has something to catch from him. The second question is, how did your childhood influence your artistic journey, or how did your childhood contribute to your journey movement of being an artist?
Okay, so this is like, asking me how I got inspired, to do music. Like I've said, I was around 11 years old, and I was in my primary six. Okay, so there's this one friend of mine, unfortunately, is the late. So rest in peace, Edgar. So, we're in class together, and one time, he walks into the class, rapping, rapping his
Exactly, yeah.
brother's lyrics, and I'm like, man, you are an artist, you can sing, you know. And he's like, man, these are my brother's lyrics and all that. I was like, okay. And from that moment, I also felt like I think I can do this thing, And of course, from my family, music, I come from a musical family. That is just another side. I come from a musical family. My father's older brother, who is like my uncle, he's an old man right now. He's the one who baptized me, and he does music. He's a writer. He's an author. So the talent is not just, it didn't just come from nowhere. Even though my friend has an influence, into boosting me into getting more into music, But yeah, the influence was from a friend.
All right. So, he got his influence from a friend, and he was inspired. Not only that, but he also had a family background, which is also musical. Uh, we are glad that you answered the few questions that I gave you perfectly. Let's proceed. So the other question is, as a musician, you can't just come from bottom and you go to the top. There is no way. So there are always obstacles. Can you tell us the early challenges or the challenges you faced during your musical career?
Now, when it comes to the challenges, all right, to be honest, the challenges are really a lot, okay? But I would also say my biggest challenge has been, on the financial side, because I've grown up struggling, to be honest. I was raised by my mom and my stepdad, I didn't grow up seeing my biological dad like in my life. I do love him. He's alive. I love him. He's still my dad. But growing up with with my mom and stepdad was also not an easy ride for me, because I realized that I have to fight so hard. Now, when I got myself into music, my family, my mother, first of all, never supported the idea of me doing music. though my stepdad was okay, with me doing music, but also the family didn't have money, like, to support my career, because music itself needs a lot of money. All right, music needs a lot of money, and after my senior four, um, I decided that, what, I want to do music full time. And from that moment, I left. I left home. I left home. I ran away from home. That's how I should bring it up. I ran away from home because my mother wanted me to, like, proceed with A level, university, and all that. But I felt like, no, I cannot do this thing anymore. I just felt like music is my calling. I want to do music full time. So I was with a friend of mine called Kiria Beats, and I'm sure some of you guys who are into music might have come across him. He's a music producer, and he has a YouTube channel where he uploads most of his beats and all that. So I was together with him, and we decided to have a plan to run away from home, to come, to come to the city and hustle to achieve our goals. Me as an artist and for him as a music producer. But we didn't know. Okay, let me say I didn't know that it will really take so long, to get to a point whereby I'll be like, yeah, I think there's an as to why I left school. It's now being seen. It took so long, like so long. Now, when we got into the city, and that was like 2012, by the way.
Oh.
Yes, some good years. Life was really, really hard. We became street kids. We used to remove grasshopper wings in a window market. Here in Kampala, and I remember we were paid like each cup 500 shillings. So we had to survive. We didn't have where to sleep. We could sleep in bars. In Kamwacha, there's a bar called Yellow Bar. We used to stay, chill there, and sometimes they will chase us out because of the age. We are still young, very young. So we didn't have money, but we needed money. Music needed money. So my biggest challenge has been that, finance. I've been struggling for all these years, looking for money, doing this and that, going to construction sites. First of all, you cannot invest in music when you're starving. It's impossible, all right? So what does that mean? You have to first survive. Go to the site, do something, let's say you get paid 7,000, because back then we were being paid 7K. Now, there's some part that I've not talked about, because there's a time my friend left me and I remained alone on streets. I had no one in Kampala. I used to sleep under verandas, bars. It's just a lot. So I just decided to check out, construction sites, because I needed to survive. There's a time I spent 3 days without eating food. It was really tough. Okay, so I had to survive, but also with the goal of of achieving that musical dream. It was really hard. You cannot record a song when you're earning 7,000 shillings a day. No way. 7,000 you have to eat. Okay, and what is funny is when you're on streets, every time you make money, that money gets spent that very night. Because of coldness, you're always eating every single time. So it has been really a tough one, to be honest.
All right. This is really inspiring story for you.
Yeah.
If you're out there, I know there are a lot of guys, a lot of young generation that are going through that stuff, and this is your opportunity to learn and catch something from this inspiring story. So without wasting no time, let's proceed. The next question is, who has been your biggest influence in your life as an artist?
Oh man, okay, now let's talk about the artists that I've always looked at in the music industry. who have shaped me, you know. Um, First of all, if we go back to the beginning, yes, I was influenced by a friend. Okay, I liked the way he was rapping, his brother's lyrics and all that. Okay, but at the same time, Akon had a banger. You know this song, I've forgotten the title. Nobody wanna see us together. That song there. Wait, 2007, I think, 6, 7, around there. So Akon became a big deal for me. I was like, man, I liked Akon's music. Now, and by that time I was staying with my grandmother, you know, and my mom was in Lira district. She was hustling, you know. She was actually she had joined, no, she had not yet, yeah, she had joined a police force, and she was in training, I think. She was in her training. So after my P7 in the village, I had already got myself into music. Okay, I'm being influenced by Akon's music. Now my mother, yeah, my mother was like, you know, she told my grandmom, like, you know, I want this boy this way where I am with my sister. So I had to travel from Kasese to Lira. Now getting to Lira, I was introduced to a new environment, and now with people who were already in the music industry. There's a squad, there's a group back then. I don't know if it is still there. It was called Data Inc. Squad. Those are my OGs, my big bros, man. I was the youngest boy in the group, you know, and these guys were rappers. So when I started, and one of them was called For Rap, aka Deno. Okay, he's called Dennis, but his stage name was For Rap. There was another guy called, is it Elias or Elias, something like that. So this guy liked Tupac. I started, you know, listening to hip hop, R&B, you know, Chris Brown, you know. Now, long story short, okay?
Exactly.
I joined Data Inc. Squad. I was a member, even though we had no contracts or stuff like that. But this for-up was like, man, you know, you're going to be an artist, you know. I was very young, very, very young. I think I was around 11, 12 years of age at that time, you know, around 12, you know. So that was after my P7, okay? Yeah, I did my P7 when I was around 11. You know, my birthday is in November, so it is almost at the end of the year. So, you know, now, when I joined Data Inc. Squad, I started rapping. I was a rapper before I turned into, you know, being an Afrobeat artist you see today. But I was listening to a lot of hip hop and R&B music, you know, Chris Brown, and Akon, and some other artists, you know. But I also liked reggaeton so much. Daddy Yankee, you know, Rompe. Rompe was one of my biggest bangers. I liked the song, you know. And also, so from that moment, I started, you know, noticing some artists who were really having a big influence, you know, to my music. Years later, I started listening more to Jason Derulo. So Akon, Chris Brown, Lil Wayne, you know, I've listened to all these guys, you know, and they are really great legends for me, you know, to me actually. So, but later on in 2011, when I was finishing up my senior 4, okay, that was the time when Wizkid was coming in. Wizkid brought Holla at Your Boy, that song. And I remember telling my friend, this friend of mine that I came with to Kampala, this producer, I was like, man, this guy is going to be an international star. Wizkid was still young as well, you know. He brought Holla at Your Boy. I liked that song. From that moment, I knew that Afrobeats was going to become something big. Yes, we had the P Squares, right? But Wizkid has been the biggest, has a very big influence. Wizkid's music has a very big influence to the music I make today. Wizkid is my number one artist, man.
No doubt.
Yes, a lot of them, but Wizkid is a big one.
All right. It's really interesting story. Like, For real, I'm really enjoying that story. Yeah, as you had. So you must have someone that inspires you,
Yeah.
someone that influences you to become better daily.
You know, you can't make it in life if you're not inspired. You know, you have to be inspired for you to chase that dream. You know, for you to have that. You know, to have a purpose in life. Be
Ex-
inspired. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Big Wiz is
Big
his
Wiz.
biggest
Man,
artist for
man,
real.
this dude actually, when he came in Kampala in 2014 for the first time, it was a party. It was like a VIP party. Back then, I was my stage name was Wiz Mano. I got it from Wiz Kid. You know.
All right, my people.
You know, so I'm telling you this. So, when Wizkid was coming, I tweeted about Wizkid's coming on my Twitter handle, but I lost that account. I tweeted about Wizkid coming to Uganda, to Kampala, and I was like, "Yo, guys, support Wizkid. Is coming to Kampala." Wizkid retweeted back my post. That is something. That is something that, you know. Sometimes I sit down like, I wish I never lost my account. You know, Wizkid retweeted back my post. I was like, Jesus Christ. You know, so my guy, man. You understand? So Wizkid is a big deal, bro. A big one.
All right, guys. It's really an interesting story. So let's proceed. Lazare,
Yeah.
the next question is, as you know, in order for you to progress, there must be someone that inspires you, and yeah. So can I say like, Wizkid is your role model, or is it like a role model to you?
Yes, he is. He is a role model. You know, actually, you know, every time I write my music, even though there are times you find that I'm writing more, or I'm writing some dance hall, you know, because here in Uganda is a dance hall country, okay? But I do all kinds of genres of music, most of them like Afrobeat, dancehall, you know. Even when I'm writing my dancehall music, I imagine how Wizkid would have sounded on this track. You know, I just put myself in Wizkid's shoes, and like, how would he have, you know, jumped on this tune? You get it? So for me, Wizkid is my role model, bro. No doubts.
Not gonna lie, for real.
Big Wiz.
That's his role model.
Yeah.
As you know, you must have a role model. If you don't have, from today you must have. You must have. A role model is like a teacher.
Yeah.
It's like a master. So
It's someone you learn
exactly, you learn from that person. All right, Lazaro, let's go ahead and proceed with the interview.
Sure.
The next one is, have you ever been criticized, or have you ever been rejected by people, and how did you deal with that kind of rejection?
Okay, now that one, it goes back to 2019, New Year's Eve of 2019. I had a friend of mine. He called me. He booked me actually, but of course it was a free gig. the fee was transport and all that, you know. So he told me, Lazeri, you know, I want you to come and perform somewhere, you know, if you can, you know, also come with, you know, your team, your friends and all that. I said, okay, cool, no problem. You know, I have to support my homeboy. Now, by that time, I didn't have many songs recorded. Like, you know, if I decide to tell you my life's journey, it is really a long one. I've skipped so many parts, okay? But in 2019, like, I did have songs, but I had few songs that I felt like they were good for performance, you know. So when my friend booked me, I thought that the show was in town. So I felt like the songs I had chosen to perform were good for the audience, the city audience, okay? But guess what? The moment we boarded our borders, okay, to take us to the show, we realized that the show was deep in the village, far away from town. And that moment taught me a lesson. Actually, I learned something. I'm coming to that point. So when we got to that to the venue, deep in the village, I'm telling you, people were waiting for the artists, and here the MC announces that the artists have arrived.
Exactly.
And I was like,
Bad boy.
I was like the big boy, head,
Wow.
headlining that event. So when we got there, my friends performed. The crowd was not that huge, village, the villages.
Yeah.
The crowd was not that huge, but yes, these people had paid some money and they wanted to be entertained. So my friends performed, and when it was my turn, okay, I made a mistake, and that's the thing. That thing got me criticized by the fans. They said "woo" at me, on stage. That was for the first time. Now, I performed the song that I started with was more of Afro pop, slow Afrobeat, kind of music.
Exactly.
And these people in the village don't understand that kind of sound. So they were like, man, what the fuck is this guy doing?
No doubt.
The MC had the MC told the people that we are from Eddie Kenzo's record label. What's the name? Oh, Eddie Kenzo's label, Big Talent. Yeah, it was like these guys are from Big Talent and all that. The guy hyped the crowd,
Yeah, exactly.
So when I got on stage, the MC introduced me as East Africa's #1.
Bad man, Lazir.
Badman Lazeri, and then the DJ dropped my song on Chamala. There's a song called On Chamala. It is real Afrobeat, okay, a slow Afrobeat sound, and to the audience, it sounded boring. So I had the audience, booing me, woo,
Exactly, that kind of local
So
vibe.
so very few of them, were like okay with the song, but most of the fans were now criticizing the song. What are you singing and all that, and then when I noticed that action was taking place, I decided to tell the DJ to change the song. So my next song was a dancehall song, and like I've said earlier, here in Uganda is a dancehall country. So when the DJ switched the song, the crowd stood up. They started supporting me because of the song, because of the sound.
Exactly.
So yes, I've ever been criticized, by the audience. They criticized me, but I think it was because of song selection. I made a poor song selection.
All right. It's really an inspiring. I'm really enjoying the interview. Not gonna lie, I ain't gonna lie. It's really an interesting, and I hope in future I find people like Lazeri. There's a way Lazeri entertains us. There's a way he does his things
Sure.
to keep us going. So, without wasting time, let's proceed, bro. Let's proceed.
Yeah.
All right. So, the next question is: have you ever had an opportunity to collaborate with other artists? And if yes, how did it feel collaborating with another artist like you?
Like you mean collaborating with a bigger artist, or like artists who are like my close friends, rising stars?
Honestly, it's a general question, meaning it can be any artist, local or international or whatever.
Okay.
Any kind of artist.
Of course, I've worked with artists who are also like producers. There's a producer called Smart Keys.
Yeah.
He's a big producer here in Uganda. I've also worked with Temperature Touch. That is my OB man. Not OB, but some good friend of mine. One thing I remember, I fought him. We fought in the studio, and the guy beat me up. Because he's older than me, man. But yeah, he's my guy, and I've also worked with my friends who went to music. At some point, I was almost working with Fie. She's a big artist here in Uganda, but the project was not successful. We didn't work on it, though I was about to work on the project. Yeah, I've not had big collaborations, with the established artists. But with my friends who are into music, yes, I have a couple of them.
All right, this is a guy who have been through a lot, honestly. A guy who knows temperature touch, smart keys. Those are big guys. Even Fik make a record from them.
Of course, man.
This is some big guy. Don't joke, by that. Don't joke. You guys shouldn't joke. Let's come to conclusion of the whatever
Okay.
of the interview.
Sure.
We have talked enough, and I'm sure the people who are watching have something to capture.
Yeah.
So, okay, one of the last questions is, as an artist, what do you think, or how do you want your legacy to be, or how do you expect your legacy to be as an artist?
When I'm creating music, I don't just create music for the moment. Okay. I create music that I want it to be remembered. That even when I'm gone, they will still play my music and be like, that is Lazeri. And I do have a son, all right? I want this boy. I don't want him to do music, to be honest. I don't really want him to do music, even though the mom is like, he has to do music because you do music. But I don't want him to do music though. But having me creating good music that will always remain in people's mind, it's something that I don't take for granted, because that's the only way I can build a good legacy for myself as an artist, just creating good music. So that's it.
All right. You all had, as an artist, you must leave legacy behind.
Create good music.
Exactly, you create good music,
And,
people love it, and you leave
actually-
some part of it
And actually,
behind.
that is why today, to date, we still listen to the Michael Jacksons, we still listen to the
Exactly.
Bob
That's
Marleys.
legacy.
These guys they created good music, and that alone is enough to speak for them. Yeah.
You all heard from him. So let's come to conclusion, guys. If you have watched till this far, thanks a lot. It really mean a lot to us. So, Lazeri, to me, you're some kind of big artist. Let me say you are national, man.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
For real, you are national.
Thanks, bro.
Because working together with big producers like Temperature Touch, Smart Keys, bro, it is a sign that you have achieved most of your things.
That you're getting somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this question, the last one is about advice. As I said,
Yeah.
you are someone that is already in a bigger level. Yeah, you're someone who can inspire someone down there.
Yes.
So I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, what advice do you have or how can you inspire those younger artists that has been in your position? Like, let me say, in the past years,
Yeah.
you have been down for yeah. So there are guys who are struggling like the way you did in the past years.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for those guys, or how can you inspire them, like to become better or to improve on their musical journey?
For me as an artist, and by the way, I'm still a rising star, okay? Because I feel like I haven't yet opened the doors, that have been locked for so many years. But at least where I am, I can there's some progress, okay, in my career. So my advice to every aspiring artist out there who wants to become a star, right? First of all, you have to believe in yourself. All right? You have to believe in yourself. You have to learn. Do research. Believe in yourself. Do research. If you want something, you have to do research about it. If you want music, research about music. Listen to all kinds of music. Okay? And then along the way, it's also important to have an identity. If Lazeri has blown the game right now, don't try coming in as me, as Lazeri. Master your own craft. Be you. Be authentic. All right? Be authentic. Believe in yourself. Do a lot of research. Okay? if you come from a poor background, okay, you're going to have financial issues. So you have to look for money. Music today does not move without money. You know, there are times they talk about social media, right? But even if you have a social media page, platform and all that, you still need other people to push your music. You need mainstream to push your music, and these people need money. Look for money, believe in yourself, be authentic, do research, okay, and be prayerful to God, man. You know, God is a big, man. We can't make it without God, okay? And and there's a lot, you know. Respect people, all right? Yeah, don't brag. Or, you know, I hate people who brag. Yeah.
All right, let's come to the conclusion of this story. If you are someone that can really listen, I'm sure you have heard a lot of things from Lazeri.
And another thing is, please never give up, no matter how many challenges you encounter. Okay, because at some point you might feel like you can't make it anymore, right? But if you know deep down inside that you can make it, all right, then don't give up. Actually, don't give up. Believing in yourself and never giving up is a way, is a tickets to, you know, to succeed in a music career.
Never give up, as you heard from him. Yeah. So without forgetting, guys, Lazeri is some big artist, as I'm telling y'all.
I'm not yet a big
hit his YouTube, bro. You are big.
I'm a rising star, guys. You know, check out my YouTube channel. Check out. Search for Lazeri, and I have a song called Ndiuwo. It's right now. That it's the current song that is moving places. Okay, it's called Ndiuwo. Check it out. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna attach the link, and then you go and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's support each other, and make sure you leave a like, comment, and let's see what you think about the video. So I still remain your boy Lax, and this is Lazeri. Shout out to you all. Shout out to whoever.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, and also go to my YouTube channel. My social media pages, they're all having the handle I love Lazeri. Okay, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Head over to Facebook, X, which formerly Twitter, and TikTok. You know, check it out. I love Lazeri.
Let's go, guys. Let's go.